these two photos weren't on the same page. I'll have to figure out what I want to do there. Oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. My task this week for my Artist Way textbook book that I'm following, the program I guess is a better word for it, is to make a mood board that is filled with images that inspire me and that spark joy. So I really interpret that as like I'm making some sort of vision board. So I bought this magazine, and let me tell you, magazines aren't cheap these days. This is the Home magazine, and I looked like for about 20 minutes at this magazine rack, and this was the only one that stood out to me with images that I felt like were speaking to my soul in a way. And I'm gonna go through this like a couple times because I feel like you need more than one pass. And I wanna find like even text that speaks to me, but like this one, slow down, that's going on the board. The photography in this one is just so striking. So that's good. I might even print some stuff off of Pinterest as well, we'll see. My one issue is when I find pages that have two things I want on them. Like, this one has a beautiful photo, but then on this side there's beautiful photos. Or this one has like a little sewing machine thing that I like, and I interpret that as like, you know, crafting and crocheting and all that stuff. But then there's a sourdough on this table, and that's one of my goals, is to kind of perfect a sourdough one day. But in these first couple passes, I just want to see, you know, what's calling out to me right from the get-go. So I'm curious to know, like, when's the last time you made a mood board? Do you make mood boards or vision boards or any sort of thing? It's been a while since I've done like a tactile one, like with physical paper. I've done a lot of digital ones, but it is nice to just kind of get creative in this way. Anytime that I bought a magazine before for this purpose, I always end up keeping it around even if I've like gone through it for one project, because chances are when you're tackling a different project one day, you'll find something else in it that is useful. Or when I do my Kindle decor stuff, like there's sometimes even just colors that work really well. So you never get rid of it because you never know when the scraps can come in handy. The sunflowers. I'm taking it out. I'm gonna gather all my materials, and I think I'll tackle this at another point because dinner is about to be done, but we got a good stack going. Also, in case you're wondering, I have been absolutely obsessed with these sweatpants. I'm living in them. This is day 4 or 5. I can't even remember. I need to find more sweatpants because clearly I've just been living under a rock. I can't believe like how comfy I am and how uncomfy I've been living my life for like a decade. Silly. About a year ago now that I started crocheting, and one thing that has happened that people warn me about is I have my apartment being overtaken by yarn, and it's always been kind of in my head that one of the solutions I could envision for this is to find a wicker basket to put all my yarn in and have it act as almost a display piece in the apartment. It's like function, storage, but also something cozy and warm through using like a wicker basket and having everything really accessible when I need it. So anytime I really come across a wicker basket, I investigate. I'm trying to find one that's like a reasonable price, a shape that I like, a look that I like, but also doesn't have like that wicker smell, because sometimes when it's really intense, even in store, I just like don't feel really encouraged to put all my yarn in there and have it start to develop any sort of weird funky smell. But I hit the jackpot today, okay, because I found this little baby wicker basket. Now it's way shorter than I envisioned a basket of this like function being. I kind of envisioned something a little taller, but I actually still want to get a taller wicker basket for another purpose in my apartment. I feel like a taller one could be a really good yoga mat exercise station. But this particular one is quite wide. It's got quite a large circumference. There we go. I was gonna say diameter. That is incorrect. Circumference. Actually, you could say diameter. Radius would be a weird thing to say here. Anyways, I guess what I'm trying to say is there's a lot more room in it than I think you would think. The real kicker is how much I paid for it. I found this at Indigo for $49.99. You can see the price there. There's the proof in the pudding. Uh-oh, my lasagna. 1 second. Set a timer for 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Starting now.
Okay, which honestly for that price would not have picked this up, but You know I didn't pay that price. No. What do you think I paid that made me say, I don't care, I'm gonna gamble on this? Think about it. Let's marinate. Have your number in your head. Process. Was it $9.99? Right there, yeah, $9.99. With tax and everything, I ended up paying $11.16 for this basket. $11.16. I was honestly taken aback by the deal, so I really had to inspect to make sure it wasn't like a defective basket that they were just trying to put on clearance, but any of the baskets in this size were the same price. Even the employee who was cashing me out was like taking a second look at this because she was shook too. Since I've got the 2 plants here, and the design rule that they say is to design or group things in 3, I feel like this is a great thing to put near the plants, but obviously I can move it around, and I like the fact that because it is smaller, I can put it on my couch while I'm crocheting, so all my yarn's really accessible too. Look at her there. Ah, I think that kind of fits. Now that I've got the wicker mushroom out on my table, it really adds a new texture to the room. Having the lasagna sit for a bit, and I'm gonna make a really quick garlic bread with some fresh loaves of bread or fresh slices of bread I picked up at the bakery. And I'm gonna put some butter on it and some diced garlic, and that's going to be my garlic bread. Butter is melting. Main reason I really want to do this lasagna is so that I can freeze a ton of it. Oops, no. You can stop. Definitely overdid it on the melting. I'm gonna be pretty liberal with the garlic. I'll also do a little bit of garlic powder in this. Some dried parsley. Why not? And main reason I wanted to do this lasagna today is so that I can freeze a ton of it, because I just know over the next few weeks I have a lot of like things that are going to be occupying my time, and I'll be in and out of the apartment. So just having things in the freezer, I know I talk about this a lot, but the freezer is my friend when it comes to making sure I'm still fueling myself well, but not having to spend tons of time in the kitchen every single night. This is one of the first meals I want to prep, but I'd also like to squeeze in a soup or a chili. I know I have a veggie chili that I really like doing in the fall. I think that would be really good to freeze. It does take a little bit of like extra planning, but it does help alleviate a lot of, you know, stress from trying to figure out what to make every night. Because some nights you just don't want to cook. You know, I'll be honest with you. Some nights don't want to do it. I've been making vision boards for over 10 years now, and genuinely, each time I make one, it is a fresh experience. And I think it's because you are in a different place every time you come to your board, and the things that speak to you can be different. There are some themes that have been pretty consistent in my vision boards, also some things I've accomplished that are now off of my vision board. So it's just a really neat exercise to return to and keep a part of my life, because I feel like I do a lot of reflecting just in the process of making them. I feel like whenever I'm sitting at this island, I'm about to do something creative, because this is just like the perfect surface area to get a little messy. I picked up this modeling clay the other day from HomeSense for $4.99, and last year I made air dry clay ornaments that were shaped like gingerbread cookies. So cute, love that, so much fun. So when I saw this again, I'm like, oh, what could I do for Halloween? I've got an idea, and we're gonna see if I can execute on it. Big we'll see energy. Can I open it? Is the real question. I should have also put my hair up, but too late now. I can't remember last year if I did this on the counter or on parchment paper, but I'm doing it on parchment paper this time because this is just gonna get so messy. Okay, so now we've got this single slab. This is interesting. Okay, so we've got our foundation going. My idea is to make a phone holder. I also want an accompanying ghost to be hanging out here. I've seen a few TikToks and Instagram reels on how to do ghosts, but I think I'm gonna do it in a little bit of a different style. I feel like this year I really emphasized the idea of doing things imperfectly, and I think I've been talking about it so much because I myself am just in a process of wanting to embrace more of that in my life, right? And not take things so seriously, and doing things that I have no business doing, i.e. clay projects, seems to be bringing me a lot of joy. So I'm gonna keep doing it. These I think I can do really well. We're gonna make a little pumpkin. So we got our little ghost and some pumpkins. And I think what I'm gonna do is get a little brush to smooth everything out. I don't know, I think that's probably one of the things that the Artist Way is really encouraging me to do as of late, is just spend more time doing things that are not really like for any purpose, but just enjoying the moment that you're in. And that's it for today. The thing about air dry clay is that you do actually have to account for some time for the clay to dry. So after about 24 to 48 hours, I was able to go in with some acrylic paint. The ghost obviously didn't have much of a transformation, but the white acrylic paint just gave it a nice polish, and I had to obviously add the eyes. The pumpkins though really came to life once I started getting creative with the orange. Once that dried, I gave everything a glaze, and my phone holder was ready for me. Very festive, not perfect, but cute, you know, considering I don't use air dry clay very often. I'm heading to an event right now, and before I go, I'm gonna take this wheatgrass elixir from Pulp and Press. I actually just did a campaign with them on Instagram for their pumpkin spice smoothies. They are so good. If you think of Starbucks pumpkin spice, they're not like that because there's no added sugar, so it's not very sweet. It's all those warm though spices that we think of when we think of fall. So it's a really nice one, but I feel like it'd be good to take this before I see a group of people. Whoa. Woo. What am I getting there? The ginger. The ginger. Yeah, this is the OOTD. Gray slacks, black bodysuit, and this baby. I haven't used this Matte Nat big tote in a while, but it hit me today. I'm like, for the fall, this is almost like the elevated tote bag that I've been wearing around all summer, and really all like this year I've really been into the tote bag look, but this really feels like the grown-up version of it. I'm a fan. I love rediscovering things in my closet that I already had. I think I used this a lot in like third year or second year of university. I use this as like a school bag, but it does the job for adult life too. Okay, I gotta go so I'm not running late.